will see and appreciate India is how India and as a destination is a good a destination for steel, and it is poised to grow. As you can see that whether it is industrializing, all the industrializing nations, they still in GDP grow hand in hand. And whether China or Vietnam or Korea, or if you look at India, all this, the growth is along with the GDP growth, with India targeting at 5 trillion economy, with investments in infrastructure in all sectors. We are looking at a huge growth in steel.
India is allowing unimpeded access to various, material imports which are coming. Now we have to stress on the origin of goods, and then there has to be BIS on all the imports which are coming in. The Bureau of Indian Standards have to apply, because we cannot have substandard goods coming into the country. Then again, we have this free trade agreements where there has to be an automatic trigger. If there is an import surge, this trigger should be activated automatically. And then again, there has to be an offset mechanism. If there is undue imports coming from any country, we need to have a counter trade. We need to have this offset which should come into play. And then again, why can't we have exports? We have export promotion councils for leather, for textiles and all that. Why can't we have export promotion councils for steel? Then again, Indian steel, when it is a hot rolled coils, when it is exported to Thailand, there is a big anti-dumping duty. We are not allowed into Thailand. Then we have a secondary downstream operation in Indonesia, where we have a cold rolling mill for about 30,000 tons a month, say about 500,000 tons, where we're not able to export to hot rolled coils there because of anti-dumping. So Indian steel has got problems of export to United States, it has got problems to Thailand and Indonesia, various countries.
However, if we compare Outokumpu with the stainless steel which is produced in some of the other countries, and we compare the carbon footprint, so you can see Outokumpu carbon footprint is the lowest, one of the lowest in the industry, about 1.6 ton of carbon dioxide per ton of crude steel, while the global average is about 5 tons. And if we compare it with China and Indonesia, where it goes as high as 7 or 8 tons per stainless steel. And the main reason is that here in China and Indonesia, there is a low utilization of recycled material, and for the nickel, it's a low nickel content ore, and lot of emissions are coming from blast furnace, and for the energy mainly coal is used.
Moderated, thanks.
Yeah, so my question was linked to the negotiations around RCEP. So we were always keen to understand steel makers' thought process about whether they would like to join, whether they would like India to be a part of RCEP or not, and what kind of opportunities or threats it can open up for the country in terms of incremental export opportunities or import threats. So if you can address some part of the some thoughts on that, it would be great.
Let me state the position which we have taken very consistently in regard to the RCEP. See, we already have a free trade agreement with ASEAN, though we have a number of issues with ASEAN in the sense that we have given full access to all the ASEAN countries, a number of HS lines, but we haven't got a reciprocal access to their country. So first of all, with the ASEAN countries, we would like to have, and RCEP is basically ASEAN plus China, Australia, New Zealand. China, we are not looking for any reciprocal arrangements because most of the products which we need right now are made within the country. We do not find any kind of better access to product for the Indian market. So definitely steel industry is against, because there was a huge dumping by many of the Chinese producers. We also are running anti-dumping duties on their product for hot rolled and some of the specific products. We have anti-dumping duties. So we definitely do not agree for any RCEP if we are asked. Thank you.
Very, very true. And I'd only like to echo this sentiment to the person who asked the question. You know, in all of this RCEP negotiations, steel was somehow seen as the deal breaker. We're actually not the joker in the pack. When our Prime Minister and then our Commerce Minister took a stand on RCEP, it was a decision coming from all sectors of Indian industry. So I just want to say that steel, yes, is one of the major players, but we should not be seen as the black sheep. India is very open to negotiations on this course, but we don't want to sacrifice our own interests. So we can now.
So what I think is that in India, the per capita consumption of stainless steel is quite low. And because of the long life of stainless steel, the availability of good quality stainless steel scrap is always difficult. And there is a high demand for scrap from different producers. And India is not producing enough stainless steel scrap currently. And this situation will change as we start to use more and more stainless steel. But as of now, still it is difficult for India because we have to depend on imports from Europe or America for scrap.
I don't think so. Just to add to what Mr. Alok Sahai was saying, see, there was a fear of unknown, and working from home was a cultural shock for many. But after this experience which we had in April and May, which continues, I don't think we would be much scared about a second wave if at all it comes. Okay, and then again, we have seen during lockdowns, or should I say post-lockdowns, and working from home, we have been running to a capacity which is almost equal to, perhaps even more than what it was pre-COVID. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. And apart from that, we also made a lot of changes. Transformations have happened. In fact, necessity is the mother of the invention in a way. Because of this, digitization has come in a big way. So all of us are trying to be more online, etc. So in steel industry, especially in our company, and all, we have gone for digital sales and procurement, so on and so forth. There is a lot of, should I say, cultural change which we are now having. So I don't see there's going to be much problem on the second wave, if at all it comes.